All right, hello fifth graders. Today we are going to do our science lesson on mountains. This will be the standard that we are covering today. So develop a model to illustrate how Earth's internal and surface process operate at different spatial and temporal scales to form continental and ocean floor features. So what I want you to consider today is that we will be creating a 3D model after this lesson about one of the three mountain types that we are going to learn about today. So our I can statement. I can name 3 types of mountain formations. I can describe the process it takes to create mountains or volcanoes, and I can create a 3D model to illustrate how Earth's internal and surface operate to create mountains. So first I want to ask you all if you know what a mountain is. So if you could describe what a mountain is to me in the chat box below. What do you know about mountains? Tell me. Okay, so a mountain is a geological landform. It rises above the surrounding land. Typically, a mountain will rise at least 1,000 feet above sea level. Some mountains exceed 10,000 feet above sea level. So the highest mountain in the world is Mount Everest. It rises 29,036 feet, and then so small mountains, which are below 1,000 feet, are typically called hills. Our mountains are made out of Earth's crust, and some of the elements that make up Earth's crust are oxygen, iron, sodium, potassium. There's so many different elements that make up Earth's crust that we've discussed earlier. So how are mountains formed? There are different types of mountain formations. So they are formed by the movement of tectonic plates in the Earth's crust. It can take millions of years for mountains to form because Earth's plates move very slowly. So I want to go ahead and zoom in on Earth's plates here. As you can see, this is the North American plate, the Pacific plate. So our mountains that are created are the Pacific plate and the North American plate. And then this is how our Earth is broken up into tectonic plates. So, main types of mountains. So there are fold mountains, which is the Andes, the Himalayas, and the Rocky Mountain Range. Fold mountains are formed when 2 plates run into each other or collide. The force of the 2 plates running into each other causes Earth's crust to crumple and fold. Now I want you to consider that mountains just will take millions of years to create. This is a very slow process. So you can see one part of the continental crust is going below, and then another part of the continental crust is going above. And so they're essentially going to form a mountain eventually. But again, this will be over thousands and thousands of years, maybe even millions of years. And so here's a zoom in on this picture a little bit. This is how the mountain range is created, and these are fold mountains. And then fault block mountains. So these are the Sierra Nevada mountains. You can see kind of the fold or the fault line where this breaks down compared to right here in the graph. So fault block mountains are formed along faults where some large blocks of rock are forced upwards while others are forced downwards. So a higher area is called a horst and a lower area is a graben. So this is another kind of a way that a mountain could be formed. And then the second is volcanic mountains. So mountains that are caused by volcanic activity are volcanic mountains. There's 2 main types. Volcanoes, which are formed when magma erupts all the way to the surface of the Earth, and the magma will harden on the Earth's surface, and that will form a mountain. So here's diagram of what a volcanic mountain will look like. So here's the crust. It may not be in the ocean, but it also may be in the ocean. So it could be the Earth's crust, the continental crust. This will go under, the lava will come out, and then the volcano is formed. So just pay attention to this. Oceanic crust is subducted. It goes down beneath our continental crust, and the molten rock will come up through the continental crust, and that is why we get the lava through the earth. And these also take thousands of years to form. So dome mountains is the other kind of volcanic mountain that can be formed. They're formed when there's a large amount of magma that builds up below the Earth's surface. This forces the rock above the magma to bulge out, forming a mountain. So you can see it kind of, the magma will bulge and then pressure will come up, and then it'll kind of bulge outwards, and then pressure will build it back up, and then it will bulge outwards. That's how a dome mountain is created under. It's what kind of goes up and out, up and out. And that's like, let's see, some examples are Mount Fuji in Japan, and there's some in Hawaii. So some facts about mountains. A mountain may be home to many different biomes, including the temperate forest, the tundra, grasslands. So be aware that mountains are a huge portion of the earth. They're 20% of our Earth's surface. They make up 1/5 of the world's landscape. So, and they house at least 1/10 of the world's people. There are mountains and mountain ranges in the ocean also. Many islands are actually the tops of mountain ranges, and so this doesn't just happen on the land. This happens under the ocean as well. There's also volcanoes under oceans. Let's see, and then our goal for today, after this lesson, we are going to do our own 3D model. This picture did get a little blurry, I apologize, but I'll run through it with you. So I would like us to label our models. The continental crust, you can see this person has labeled here. They created a volcano mountain. So this is the foot of the mountain. They layered the different types of soil. This is the oceanic crust right in here. You can see that goes down. And they put an arrow on here, which is helpful. It shows. So I want to be able to see in our 3D models what is happening under Earth's crust. That's the important part about your 3D model. So for example, this 3D model here, you cannot see what is happening under Earth's crust. And so I will, if you were to use a model like this, which is okay, you don't have to use clay. You can use a shoebox. Please kind of cut it in half right here so that I can see what's going on underneath. You can use any materials that you can use. Shoebox. I do like how this is labeled. They use paint. You can add lakes, you can add the mountains, but please just cut it in half. So like this one, so that we can see what's going on. So I can tell that you understand why these mountains are being formed. So this is just a kind of quick introduction to our mountains, what you may call a crash course, because there are so many things that we will go into. So next we will go into what types of rocks and how different rocks are formed in mountains. So we'll go into the geology, and first we'll learn about the granite mountains and other different types of mountains and how the rocks are compressed. So this is just a brief overview of what makes mountains, why they form, and so if you have any questions, please go ahead and comment them in the box below in the chat box. And I hope you have a great rest of your day and you are staying safe. And